Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain you how to use passive voice in different tenses. Remember that we use passive voice when we want to make emphasis on the action. Let's begin. We use present simple when we want to talk about routines, habits, or scientific facts. Here we have some time expressions. Every day, every month, every year, once a week, on Fridays. So let's start with an active voice example. Here, in the active voice, we have the emphasis on the person who does the action. In this case, the gardener, who waters the flowers every morning. As you can see, we have the structure subject, verb, complement. Now, let's check how can we change that sense into the passive voice to give importance on the action. As you can see, the flowers in here become the subject of the sentence. Here we have, the flowers are watered by the gardener every morning. In here, we have subject, verb to be in present simple, because that is the tense, and the main verb in past participle. When we want to mention the agent, the person in charge of the action, we use the preposition by, and the complement, that in this case is the time expression every morning. Now, let's continue with another example in different tense. We have past simple. Remember that we use past simple when we talk about actions that started in the past and finished in the past. Here we have some time expressions. Yesterday, last week, last year, last month, 2 years ago, or in 1977. Let's start. We have here an active voice sentence. We have Leonardo da Vinci painted La Gioconda. As you can see, the structure is subject, verb in past simple, and complement. Here we have the main verb, that is painted. In here, we make emphasis on the person who performed this action. In this case, Leonardo da Vinci. So let's change this one into the passive voice structure. Here we have La Gioconda was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. The structure is subject, in this case La Gioconda, which was the object of the sentence in the active voice. Then we have the verb to be in past simple that refers to La Gioconda, that's why it's in singular, and painted, that is the main verb in past participle. And as we mentioned in the last tense, we use by as a preposition to emphasize on the person who performed the action, that is Leonardo da Vinci. We continue with future simple. Here we have some time expressions. Tomorrow, next week, next year, next semester, or soon. In here we have an active voice example. Millions of people will visit the museum next week. That is a prediction in this case. So we have the structure subject, will or want, plus verb, plus complement. Now let's change into the passive voice. Here we have, the museum will be visited by millions of people. In here, as you can see, we make emphasis on the action that is visited, and the structure goes subject, will or want, verb to be infinitive, verb in past participle, agent, and complement. Remember that when we use will or want, the verb to be has to be in infinitive. We continue with present continuous. In here we have some time expressions. At the moment, now, this afternoon, today, tomorrow, this year. Remember that when we use this tense, we refer to actions that are happening at the moment of speaking, or in the future. In here we have an example about an action that is performed at the moment of speaking. Maria is cooking dinner. So remember that the structure is subject, verb to be, and verb ing. Let's change the same sentence into the passive voice. Here, we change the order. Dinner is being cooked by Maria. In here, as you can see, the object becomes the subject of the sentence, and the structure is subject, verb to be in present simple, verb to be with the ing form, verb in past participle, and the agent, that is Maria. Remember that when we identify the tense, we can define what is the form of the verb to be. Now, let's keep on working with past continuous. Remember that when we talk about actions that were in progress in the past, we use this tense. Here we have an active voice example. The mechanic was fixing the car at 9 a.m. So that action was in progress at that specific moment. And the structure is subject, verb to be, and verb with ing form. Let's change the same sentence into the passive voice. We have the car was being fixed by the mechanic at 9 a.m. As you can see, the car now becomes the subject of this sentence. And we have subject, that is the car, verb to be in past simple, verb to be with the ing form, and the verb, the main verb, in past participle. Remember to use by to talk about the person in charge of the action, in this case, the mechanic, and to complement the time. We continue with present perfect. Remember that we use present perfect when we talk about an action that started in the past and continues in the present. Here we have a common problem that humans have caused during many years. Men have destroyed nature. We have subject, have or has, verb in past participle, and the object, in this case, nature. Let's change the same sentence into the passive voice. We have nature has been destroyed by man. And we follow the structure subject, that now in this case is nature, has or have, plus verb to be in past participle, that is been, the main verb that is in past participle, and agent, that in this case is man. And here we have past perfect. Remember that past perfect makes emphasis on an action compared with another action in the past that happened before the other one. Let's check. Here we have an active voice sentence that is, Mariana Pajón had won several tournaments before she won the Olympics. In this case, we make emphasis on the tournaments that she had won before the Olympics. And the structure is subject, had, verb in past participle, and the object. When we want to change that, we say, several tournaments had been won by Mariana Pajón before she won the Olympics. As you can see, we have the emphasis on the tournaments she had won before the Olympics. And the structure is subject, had, verb to be in past participle, the main verb in past participle, and the agent, that in this case is Mariana Pajón. I hope you have learned a lot with this presentation. See you soon. Thank you, and don't forget to practice. Bye.